Shalom, everybody. Thank you for joining us for a word of Torah. Thank you to the Federation for this initiative. My name is Rabbi Mendel Solomon, the Chabad Rabbi at Short Hills, New Jersey, and it is an honor today for me to share some words of Torah with you. Last week, when I received an email from the Federation asking for rabbis to sign up, I immediately signed up with the first opportunity, the first opening that there was. Afterwards, I looked to see the Parshiot, the Torah portions too, this week, and I realized that I signed up for most probably one of, if not the hardest Torah portions to extrapolate a positive, uplifting, spiritual, jolly, joyous message. The first Torah portion is Behar, speaks to the laws of the land, the 7th year, leaving the land barren, the 50th year, Jubilee year, and then Bechukotai even more so, speaks to the harsh rebuke that God says will befall our people. How am I to share an uplifting message with those two themes? Some 24 hours later, on Lag BaOmer, the horrific, tragic events took place in the holy gravesite of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Meron. I've thought long and hard about this Torah today. And what resonates and what comes to mind is 2 years ago, we were privileged to have here with us for Shabbat, as a scholar in residence, the Chief Rabbi of Efrat, Rabbi Shlomo Riskind, who shared many anecdotes, stories, uplifting messages with us over Shabbat, but none touched my heart more than this one which he shared. That one time he was in shul in the Kloisenberger shul in Israel. Let me explain to you for a moment who the Kloisenberg shul, who the Kloisenberg Rebbe was. The Kloisenberg Rebbe comes from the great Hasidic dynasty. Kloisenberg Rebbe himself lost 11 children and his wife in the Shoah. He didn't even sit shiva for them because he didn't want to take a precious moment away from his ability of saving someone else by creating passports and doing what he can to save a fellow. When it came to this Torah portion, Bechukotai, the custom is that the harsh rebuke is recited by the Baal Korah, the individual who reads the Torah, on the lower octave, on the lower level, because we don't wish to hear those harsh words resounding in our ears. At this specific Shabbat, as Rabbi Risking is standing in shul, he hears the Tochacha being read on a lower level, and at one point the Kloisenberg Rebbe standing in front of the shul yells, Hecher, Hecher, which means louder, louder in Yiddish. The Baal Korah, the individual reading the Torah portion, wasn't sure what the message was, and he kept reading on the lower octave, and again the Rebbe repeats, Hecher, Hecher, louder, louder. As you can imagine, all those assembled were bewildered. Why would the Rebbe say that when usually he's supposed to go lower? And so after davening, the Rebbe explained, I wasn't saying louder so we can hear those harsh rebukes. I was saying louder because I want the Almighty, God Himself, to hear that we have experienced this. I have experienced this. We as a people have experienced this. And now it's time for us to get a break. Now it's time to send us blessings, joy, peace, and unity. My friends, after this tragic event of last week on Lag BaOmer Meron, I thought of the two Torah portions, the names of the Torah portions. Behar, which represents the mountain in which we stood before God, receiving the 10 Commandments and the Torah, and where Rashi, the commentary, explains, we stood there K'ish Achad B'Lev Echad, one people with one heart, unified. How are we to overcome tragedies? How are we to overcome difficulties in our life? How are we to be united? By only knowing that when there is going to be periods of time that we're going to go through hardships, we have to stand together more so than ever before. That is the only solution and resolution. And to that end, I want to share with you an article that I read last week that touched me so deeply. It was after the families, one specific family had lost 2 sons in Meron. Another couple who are not quote unquote religious went to pay a shiva call just out of respect, human dignity, empathy. And when they showed up, you can imagine they're in their jeans and the Hasidim were in their dark garb. And everyone saw them coming in, they made way and they let them sit next to the father. The father of the 2 boys, who lost his 2 boys, turns to them and starts crying, holding their hand. And he says, I just want you to know what your visit has done for me is more than anything else. You have brought solace and comfort, but you have also shown that we are way more united than we are divided. And the father says, I beg you, I want to invite you to all my children's simchas, and I want you to do the same. Invite me to your children's celebrations. Let me be there with you and for you. How beautiful. What a gift that is. Only through such hardship, when we come together and realize that labels are divisive, that we really are much more united than we are divided, can we truly grow and heal. It is for that reason as we stand one people with one heart, and we have hard times that befell us, and we all struggle with it each and every day, but we know we're not alone. We have each other, we have God, and please God, as we say at the conclusion of this week's Torah portion, Chazak, Chazak, V'nis Chazek. God, Chazak, give us strength. Strengthen our belief, strengthen our commitment to each other, strengthen our observance of mitzvot and study of Torah, and also Chazak, strengthen the other, strengthen my family member, my community member, the person I work with, the neighbor, the person I don't know, the person I don't like. Strengthen them. V'nis Chazek, because together we will not only heal, but we will stand united and be able to proceed together as one people with one heart to a holy land where we'll be reunited together and celebrate with our family and with our friends. Ki'ish echad b'lev echad. Chazak, Chazak, v'nis Chazek. Thank you for joining me. Wishing you a beautiful day and be strong.